Hey campers, Georgia, back in the man cave. Woot! This time, looking at something I'm going to need hopefully this summer. I have plans for summer and I felt I needed to upgrade this. So I'm looking at it right now and it's the Gear Guide 10x10 Teepee tent. Check it out. So as you saw the picture of me standing next to the tent, I put it together because they said one person can do it. And I got to tell you, it's not that hard. It takes a little time. I mean, it probably took me about 15 minutes to put it up. Not bad for one person. And it works great. I didn't put it up perfectly. I still, obviously, when I'm using it, I would tighten down the base a little bit more so that I don't get any water pooling on the sides of the tents, things like that. But that you learn as you go. So it did come with instructions, all the information you need about it. Now, a couple of things. It did say that it is a 2-person tent. It is a 10x10, and that's the footprint. So you have 10 foot by 10 foot. Although the height-wise, I'm not quite sure, but we'll get into that. And looking at the reviews, they were kind of up and down. But this guy was in my price range and will work for me. It is an upgrade to my current tent that I have. I have a little French 2-man pup tent, French Army, and it's worked fine for me, but it's getting a little small for me, getting in and out and things like that. I wanted something bigger when I go car camping so that I can have all my stuff inside there as well as be able to sleep. And as you'll see, it provides a lot of space on the floor for that. Certainly for 2 people to sleep in there and their gear, I don't see a problem. And which means that I can put a lot more gear in there and keep stuff in there. I don't like leaving stuff outside of my tent when I'm off fishing or something like that. That's a good thing for me. And that was the reason I went with this guy. And this is the Gear Guide 10x10 Teepee tent. I'm going to go through some specs with you, and then I'll show you the video of me putting it up. It's a real fast video. Put it on 2 times for you so you don't have to sit through it. And then a couple of other things with it. So let's have a look at the specs. It's made of heavy-duty 190 denier polyester. It has 3 waterproof windows, rain-protected ventilation at the peak. It weighs, when you carry it, about 13 pounds in the carry case. It comes, and the reason for that is a lot of that is the number of pegs you need to put it up. It's not a big deal, but it's just a lot of them. Now, one thing they do say is that it's a 4-season tent. Kind of surprises me. You don't see that too often, and typically a 4-season tent is a little bit more expensive than that. It probably is. I'm not saying it isn't. Only time will tell. I'll certainly be taking this out in winter when it's all snowy and nasty out there and see how it does. Now, the height of the tent is 6'6" at the center pole. Now, remember, it is a TP shape, so that's the peak height, and then it dropped down from there. So, you know, a guy who's 6 foot tall could stand next to the pole, kind of. But for me, it's good. I'm nowhere near 6 foot, so I'm good with that. I don't have a problem there. It does have, I think, 3 windows on it, and they are sealed windows. They don't have the that mesh on it. They are plastic sealed. I'm not sure what kind of plastic it is. It looks pretty thick and sturdy, and that does seal up. And they do have privacy blinds on it that come down, and you can clip them in so nobody can see in. Underneath 2 of them are ventilation vents, and those have the mesh on it, but they open from the outside, and as you'll see later on in the video how they work. And they work pretty well, and I kind of like that idea. A better seal than a regular window with mesh in it, I think. Now, the door is 48 inches high and 48 inches wide. Kind of, you know, the normal shape of the door. And it has a zip open and close. It has a mesh inner door and then the polyester outer door to close it up to make it obviously waterproof. You don't want. So a nice sized door. You still have to get down and to get into the tent. Once in, you have a little bit more room in there. Bigger and higher than my tent I have now. It looks like it's going to work for me. One thing I would recommend to anybody, you buy a tent that says it's waterproof and it's got a bunch of stitching in it, you better get some sealants for that. And I went with what they recommended to use. And it's this stuff here. And it's the tent seam sealant. And it's from Gear Aid. So you can buy it. It's a brush on it. It has little brushes on it. And you squirt the stuff in it, brush it on. You let it sit. You can do it indoors. Let it sit indoors at normal temperature for about 2 to 4 hours. And that'll seal it up. I've seen good reviews on this. A lot of people like this. So kind of one thing I did notice about that tent, it does have a lot of stitching in it. When you're doing that, you're going to get leaks if you don't seal it properly. So I'll be doing that certainly before I get out on it. So if you're looking at buying a tent, not necessarily this one, but you want to make sure it's going to be waterproof, this stuff works for the seams. Now, when you put it in the carry bag is 28 inches long, and it's about 7 to 8 inches square around there, so it's that rectangle tube thing. It's not small. Like I said, it's not really something designed for backpacking or even just a small hike. I wouldn't recommend it. It's a little bit too heavy. It's 13 pounds, I think. So it's not a lightweight one. Hence, I got it to do my car camping in. Before we go to the setup, one thing I will say, I can see me changing a couple of things. With this tent come 22, count them, 22 stakes. Now the stakes they give you are those silver little push-in ones, which are kind of okay if you're putting up a little canopy for a day, things like that. They're just not sturdy enough. If you hit hard ground, they bend, things like that. So I will be changing those tent spikes. The problem is that you have to be careful what you get. If you get heavy steel ones, you're adding a lot of weight when you're buying 22 of them. I like the little triangular ones that are aluminum from Walmart. I use them on my tent that I have right now, which work fine for me and never had them bent, and they always came out and they work really well. And they're fairly inexpensive. So I'll probably replace those. I'll keep those in there for just in case, but I'm not a big fan of that style of tent peg. So I won't keep you any longer. Let's get out there and let's have a look it up. Here I am putting it up. Brace yourself. So there we have it up. You saw me put it up in slow motion. I'm normally twice as fast as that. First time putting it up. Actually went a lot easier than I thought it would. A lot of pegs, but still fairly easy to put it up. I'm not quite sure about this, how this should be. I suppose that's about where you want it. I might want to spread it a bit, but I don't think so. It looks like it works. Don't think rain would have to come in pretty sideways to get in there. It is a big vent on the top, I will tell you that. Not bad so far. I had a guy say that he was 6 foot tall and he could stand in there, so time to test that theory. So you have the regular zips and Velcro closures on them just to cover them. I think more would have been better, because I'm not so sure how waterproof that's going to be. I think that's a problem. I would like more Velcro on that than they've got. Okay, let's see. They got, and I don't like the way they put the Velcro on. It kind of opens up. So you got your zip. Have to do this with 2 hands apparently. See if I can get it. You got 3 zippers. Open the top one first. It's easier that way, he says, because once you release these ones, it flops in and it becomes difficult to open. Then you definitely need two hands. And there you can see the middle pole, and I'll crawl in. See, it sits down there. I would like to get me something to put in the middle, mark the middle of the tent, put like some sort of pad there to get that stress off here, because this is going to wear away. And you can see the windows. You have a window with a mesh which gives you a ventilation which is low, and you can see it goes straight through there, like that one lines up with the door behind me. So you'll get good low ventilation, and of course any heat hopefully will go out through there, through the top. And you can see you have the mesh, and it does have a pull together on it. You can tighten it up to the pole. I'll show you that. You can see it there, it tightens up against the pole. It's going to keep the bugs out. Obviously they can come in from underneath here, and this is a nice big vent. So there you go. Let's try and get a wider angle here. There you go. You can see the top and your floor, the windows, and of course your center pole, and then the door. Now that 6 foot guy, no, I'm 5'8", and I'm right up there. I'm not sure if you could stand up in here, but it was in one of the reviews. It's still, I don't have to crawl around in it, and that's what I was looking for. And I was looking for a bigger base. This is really, like I said, for car camping, not something you want to take backpacking with you. It's just too big, too heavy. And I'm planning on some more car camping, on fishing trips, that sort of thing. And I think I can, plenty of stuff, plenty of place to, half of it would be your sleeping area, which is plenty, and then you got the other half would be your gear and stuff like that. The reviews, plus and minus on the reviews. Some people said it leaked horribly, others said no leaks at all. I did buy some sealant for all the joints, and there is a lot of joints. You can see there's a lot of stitching on here. I think that might be their problem. If they could cut back on their stitching, there'd probably be a lot less leaks. It's going to take quite a lot to seal it up, but we persist. The windows, like I said, the bottom ones have a mesh, keep the bugs out. The top one is more of a view window, and they have little loops on it here, and a privacy window, I should say, and a view window. So that unhooks, and that unhooks, and of course you have your roller up there like that. You got your tie up, and you can see outside. It's not crystal clear, obviously the plastic is going to crease and things like that, but you can still see outside. And the zip for the bugs, and you'd zip the bottoms as well. I'm just lazy right now, and you can see out. The door is about halfway up, so you're going to have to crawl in and out. If you're any taller than 5'2", you're going to be crawling. Anything less than that, you might be able to crouch and get under, but still, it's bigger than I have. I have a French F2-man pup tent that I camped in for years. Loved that thing. Well worth the value. Paid about $50 for it. One thing I forgot to show you was how those bottom ventilation panels work. Here it is open. Can you see that? It has zippers on the side, and then these come out and hold it open. When you close it up, it's a lot better seal on it. Obviously you don't get the leaks, and here you can see it, what it looks like there. Closing them up and opening is not your normal way of doing it. I think they've done a better way of sealing it. A lot of tents just have a flap that'll go off and you'll have the little tie-ons on it. I'm not sure they work as well as what this would, but time will tell. How much did I pay for it? Well, that much. A little pricey, but hopefully it's going to be worth it. Pricey for me, not bad for a tent. Certainly a 10 by 10. Kinda. Guide gear, 10 by 10 Teepee tent. Hoping this is going to work for me. You know, only time will tell. Got to actually get out there and use it, and I plan to do that this summer. After the initial setup and getting it looking okay, I did some tweaking. I really looked at it and made some small adjustments. One thing I'd done wrong was this tip here. There is actually a strengthened cone in the top that I had missed when I put the pole in. That made a difference and really brought the sides of the tents a lot straighter. The other thing that I did, if you look here at the ventilation, I could live with that in any situation. It's pretty good ventilation, the water's not going to get in, and all it took, after looking at it, they actually double zipped this. So you can zip it closed like that and velcro it and seal it. If you unzip it, there's another zip here which holds the side panel here, which I kind of like. No water's going to get in. You can probably leave this open when it rains, which was a nice touch. And all I had to do was move this guideline right next to the main one on the tent. Now looking at that, can you see what I can do? I can reduce the amount of pegs I'm using by putting those two guidelines on one peg. So you're going to lose 1, 2, 3, 4 pegs, 5 pegs, and you can see over here 6 pegs. I've just reduced it 6 pegs. I like that idea, and it looks a lot better, more symmetrical. The sides are straighter, less chance of rain pooling anywhere. So I'm happy with this. They actually did it right. So there you have it. Don't forget now, like, share, subscribe. You know the story. Pretty sure I'll be back. Hopefully, sometime in the next 2 months or so, I'll get that thing out there and actually do some camping. Have a camping trip coming up. Won't be using that. It's a very quick up north special camp trip. But this one is going to be my fishing house for summer. Just saying. Thanks for watching, and you all be safe out there. Take care now.